Can you explain your history with drugs?
I started using drugs when I was 12 when my dad left. I started out smoking pot and it graduated from there. I went to acid, cocaine, ecstasy, and kept going on. I tried meth when I was younger but didn't really like it, and I would just use here and there. I started missing school because of my drug use. I dropped out of soccer, and it progressed as time went on. Then I had a child when I was 19, and my relationship wasn't very good, and we ended up splitting up, and then meth was reintroduced to me, and it's literally like you can only use it once or twice, you're hooked. And I started using meth, and it graduated from there, and I lost custody of my child. I used it for probably 2.5 years straight, and at the end I was a pure IV user.
Influenced you to start using drugs?
Oh. All I can tell you is the reason I started using meth was one day I went to work hungover because I was already using alcohol, partying, getting drunk, married to a man that was abusive, and I went home that night and he hit me. It was a bad night. Went to work the next morning, and I worked for Safeway, and my night crew manager said, I have something that'll make you feel better, because he knew what was going on, and gave me this white powder, and I went to the bathroom and snorted it. And next thing you know, I'm like calling my ex-husband and telling him I'm sorry for coming home intoxicated, and he's the one that hit me. And anyways, that started that thing.
Well, once I went through rehab for the pain pills, I came out and was going through heavy withdrawals because I'd been on them for so many years. And I had another relative introduce me to meth.
Okay. What did a typical day look like for you?
When I was a drug addict?
When you were a drug addict.
It was very chaotic. I usually did not sleep, so I was up for 24 hours. If I did sleep, I would fall asleep maybe around 6 in the morning and sleep for an hour or two and then wake back up. But it would consist of going and meeting people to make drug deals, buying different items from different people with drugs, driving around, going to people's houses, getting high. It was very unproductive and very chaotic, with not a lot of sleep, and usually you would just pass out once you would fall. You never went to sleep and woke up. It was more of a you pass out and come to.
And so basically they call it puffing, and I took a puff and had energy for 12 hours where I didn't even sit down in the house or anything, sleep. And so every day, you know, I just puffed and I'd have all this energy, but my behavior became very odd to my husband, my children. You kind of get stuck in things that you're doing. You might be doing the same thing for hours and you don't realize it.
Sober a couple different times. The first time I tried to get sober for my daughter. The second time I tried to get sober because I was in drug court and they were going to send me to prison. And the third time, actually I went to 2 rehabs, which were unsuccessful. And then my last and final time was, I was just sitting on the couch one day at my house and realized this wasn't the life I wanted to live. And so I started going to CMA meetings, which is Crystal Meth Anonymous meetings. And I would go every week, every Monday. even though I was high. I would still go, and I would go, and I'd go, and probably 2 or 3 months later, I was ready to stop using. And I set a date, and I quit.
But what led you to become clean? Was it forced upon you or a personal decision?
Oh, I'd hit so many bottoms. Like, I was over it. Like, I was so sick of hitting bottoms. I was so sick of being away from my kids and with people that didn't care about me, that I'd sit in the mirror and say, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, what are they doing right now? Like, how are they living without you, you know? I did it. I came home one morning, I said, Mom, where's the application to Salvation Army? I said, I want to fill it out, and I did. So
Came back, and for 2 weeks I maybe was awake 2 hours a day. That's how I withdrew from the meth.
So was coming clean part of your decision, or was it forced upon you?
It was my decision because I would hit rock bottom, and I had nothing else or nobody else to turn to. I had no job, I didn't have my kids, I didn't have my family, and it was either I get better or I die.
So can you be more specific about the steps you took to become clean?
Well, I went through the withdrawal. It was about 2 weeks, but once you're on drugs and you're on them for so long, your body is still cleansing from those drugs.
Would you say like it's harder to change from alcohol addiction or like a drug addiction, or does it matter?
It's a good question because you're asking a real chemical question. The way I'd answer it is, alcohol it's the most dangerous to quit cold turkey. It's probably the only one where you can die by stopping. So that's why people go to a detox place, because your body is so messed up physically from having alcohol in it all the time that when you remove the alcohol, your body can cease to function. So that's the most dangerous. As far as the most difficult, I would tend to lean a little bit in that the harder drugs are a more difficult chemical addiction. Like meth is pretty hard, and heroin's hard to get on. But I'm not really as much of an expert with those two, although I have worked with those addictions.
So then how was your life different when your mom wasn't around as much?
It made me have to grow up a lot faster than I really wanted to. I started taking care of my little brother when my mom couldn't. I was just really confused at first when she was gone. Like, I couldn't understand it. I couldn't cope with it too well. So I got pretty depressed when she left. So it impacted my life a lot.
Did you have any long-term consequences from it?
Yes, I lost 2 children. I had my rights terminated to one of my children, and it was my son, and I don't see him. My daughter is still primarily with her father. I do have not joint custody, but I do have more time with her now, and I see her regularly. However, her father still has primary custody.
My kids have gone through therapy, and now I know what to look for if I ever see any, signs with my children doing drugs.
During this assignment, I think we all learned a lot, especially on working with groups. We all kind of procrastinated because we're all pretty busy and have like difficult schedules to work with, so that was pretty hard. And gathering like all the information and putting it together made it difficult.
Definitely trying to make a video is hard when you don't have any experience with it, and that was a new thing for us to learn. And we all just had to put our minds together and make what looked the best.
I think we all enjoyed learning about drug addicts and seeing like how they had to overcome their addiction and see how it affected like their kids and other people in their lives. I think we all thought that was pretty interesting.
It also helped us asking like a counselor what she has to deal with and everything. So we saw from like different perspectives, and that helped us learn more about like drug addiction and how much it will affect like the people around them.
Yeah, I really liked working with this group because we all get along really well and we're able to work together like efficiently. But I think that the hardest part of this project was definitely the technology piece, because none of us have great skills on like making movies or editing stuff.
While working with the group, I found it very difficult to plan events and have us all be at the same place at the same time, and it was hard to communicate with all of the busy lives that we have. And overall, I really enjoyed being with the group and doing the research of recovered drug abusers. It was really interesting to get all of their life stories and to see how everyone had different strengths and weaknesses, and it was really cool to see how they recovered and became better people, and it was a great project overall.